So I'm sure a lot of installers watching this video have considered running paid ads for their business but never quite pulled the trigger, or they might have tried it previously and not quite got the results they wanted. So in today's video, we're going to run through 5 essentials that you need to have in place before you even consider putting any budget towards paid advertisements. This is mainly because we speak to installers all the time who think that paid ads are some magic switch. You turn them on, put a budget behind it, and the leads and installs come flooding in. The truth is this only really works if you have the foundations in place, because if it was as easy as putting £1 in to get £5 back out, then everyone in the industry would be a millionaire, but unfortunately it's not that easy. It's the installers we work with that have these foundations in place, as well as a well-run advertising campaign, that make their advertising extremely profitable. So before you do go ahead and spend any money on paid traffic, whether that's in-house or with an agency, make sure that these 5 essentials are in place for your business. So the first thing you'll want to have is a strong online presence. So what I mean by that is if someone searches your business on Facebook or Google, what are they going to find? So the bare minimum really is a solid website and up-to-date socials that build trust. Because if you're going to charge, particularly premium prices of over, 10 to 15,000 pounds, no one's going to spend that if they can't find anything online, or if they find you online and everything's ancient. So at the absolute minimum, as I said, you need a modern, up-to-date website that very clearly communicates who you are and what you do. And then secondly, active social media profiles demonstrating quality installs, happy customers, things like that. Because the easier it is for a customer to find you and find out more information about your company, the more they're going to trust you. Because you may know, how good of a company you are, how good your installs are, but you need to make sure that you showcase it online just to make sure these customers actually trust you and they're willing to spend thousands of pounds with your business. The second thing that you'll want to have in check, which kind of links to number 1, is social proof. So by that I mean things like Google reviews, Trustpilot reviews, video case studies. All of these things matter in building trust and making sales. Particularly again, if you want to charge premium prices, people need real proof that you can actually deliver this for homeowners and other local people just like them. Because from their perspective, it's all well and good you saying how good your installs are, how amazing you are as a company, but from their perspective, obviously you're going to say that because it's your company. It needs to be backed up by real customers, real experiences and real stories of your business. So as a general rule of thumb, this is not black and white, but we recommend to have at least sort of 20 plus positive reviews with a average rating of about 4.5 stars or above. And ideally also some video case studies, so things like customer interviews, footage of installs, stuff like that, that also brings the written testimonials to life. So just as a little bonus feature to put this in a bit more context, a great addition once you've booked a customer in for that initial quote or survey is hammering people with social proof between the booking and you turning up to their home. Because if you put it from their perspective, who is a customer more likely to go with if they get 2 quotes? Company 1 quotes them, but beforehand and after the survey, they send across no social proof to look at, no reviews. The customer has no idea what other people think about this company. Or you have company number 2 who sends across links to their Trustpilot, includes emails with customer interviews speaking about how good their experience was. All of this kind of shown to the customer before you turn up and quote them, 10 to 15,000 for a solar system or a heat pump. Obviously, company number 2 has a lot more chance of closing that deal, even if they're more expensive. So if you are going to go ahead and run paid ads without any social proof, expect to find it particularly tricky once you get to the point of quoting a customer to actually convert them, because there are likely more companies out there with more reviews than you, more social proof, that they're going to trust more. So yeah, point number 2 is to get your social proof and reviews in check. Third thing to look at is your sales process. So getting more leads in does not necessarily equal more customers. If you cannot consistently convert inquiries into actual paying installs, then paid ads isn't going to fix that. It's just going to expose a problem. So again, just to put this into context, let's say you convert at 15% from quoting to actually getting that job, which is pretty low by industry standards. So on a small scale, without running paid ads, if you set 8 appointments per month, you'll likely get 1 deal out of that, meaning 7 of those were missed opportunities that you didn't close. With an average order value of £10,000, that is about £70,000 per month in missed opportunity for your business. So let's now say that you put some advertising spend and budget behind that with paid ads. So you might set 24 appointments per month rather than 8, and at a 15% close rate, that is 3 to 4 deals per month. So with the same average order value, that is going to be about £190,000 to £200,000 in missed opportunity every single month. So before you do go spending thousands of pounds on generating more leads and more inquiries, make sure you can actually consistently convert the ones you're already getting, because just to use this analogy here, let's say the top of the pipe is an influx of leads, so more inquiries, whether that's through Google ads, Facebook ads, whatever it is, and then the end of the pipe in terms of the water coming out is the sales, so the actual installs that you're doing. This whole rest of the pipe in between point A and point B is your sales process. So if it's not slick, if you're not converting people consistently, all you're doing is just leaking money out of the sales process, or the pipe in this case, and by the time that you get to the end, you're going to be losing a lot of water, aka a lot of money. So your sales conversion rate is something that you should be tracking. You should have a very good idea of what that number is, and until you're at a point where you're converting at least 1 in 4 out of your quotes into an actual customer, then I would stay clear of running any paid ads. The fourth thing that you want to have in check before you start generating more leads through paid ads is solid customer service. So the two things that I mean by this are, first of all, speed to lead, and then secondly is your customer communication. So if no one is calling leads as soon as they come through, booking surveys efficiently, keeping customers up to date on next steps, then you're going to be wasting a lot of good leads and a lot of money. So again, just to put the numbers behind this, there is extensive studies showing that leads are 8 times more contactable if you call them within 5 minutes of making their inquiry. So this really should be your number one priority in your sales process. And if you aren't calling your leads as soon as they come through, then you don't need to be running paid ads, because you've probably already got too many leads to handle anyway. So again, on this, we'll break down a example scenario. Let's say you get 50 leads per month through your advert website, and you currently call leads around 4 hours after they come through, and you book 20% of your leads from leads to an appointment. If you then close 1 out of 3 of those appointments, out of your 50 leads, you get 3 to 4 sales. If you were to call these leads within 5 minutes of them actually coming through as an inquiry, you can comfortably say you'd book at least 40% of those in for a survey. Therefore, you get 20 appointments rather than 10, and 6 to 8 sales rather than 3 to 4. So again, on an average order value of £10,000, that is £360,000 to £480,000 of revenue every single year, simply because of how quickly you pick up the phone and call your leads. So if you're now going to generate 100 leads a month because you start running more paid ads or put more budget behind it, you need to make sure that you're calling leads and dealing with leads very quickly, or all you're going to be doing is wasting money. And again, on the customer communication side of things, from the moment a lead makes an inquiry, they should know exactly what to expect as next steps. So when they fill out the form, you should let them know exactly when you'll be calling them. So for example, a automated text that goes out saying expect a call within the next 10 minutes. And then when you do get them on the phone, you should always have one of 3 outcomes. Either disqualify the lead and let them know if they're not a good fit for whatever reason, schedule a follow-up call at a specific time, so don't just say I'll call you tomorrow, book in a time, for example 2 p.m. to give them a call, or you book them in for the next step, whether that be a remote quote, site visit. Having all of these next steps defined from the inquiry coming through to the actual install getting booked ensures a really smooth sales process for the customer. It makes you look professional and makes them trust you more. So as I mentioned previously, and kind of linking to all the points I've run through, if people are going to spend a lot of money with your company, they're going to let you in their home, then they need to trust you, and fast, clear communication is a big part of that. The fifth thing to have in place before you start running paid ads is a decent budget and some patience. Paid ads are an investment, they're a long-term strategy. You're likely going to need at least a few £1,000s up front and a few weeks of running the ads before you expect to see a return in terms of revenue and installs coming in. So if you're going to chuck £400 a month for ad spend or expect to see results within the first week, then your expectations are completely misaligned with paid ads. So as a general rule of thumb for all the clients that come on board with us, we recommend a minimum advertising spend of £1,500 per month to get started. And we try and get them in the mindset of not expecting to see a penny back for at least 2 months. That is us being really pessimistic, but we'd rather give them the worst case scenario and over deliver than try and missell people, telling them that they're going to get 10 installs in their first month and it just doesn't happen. So As I mentioned, if you think you just turn on the paid ads and you see the installs and the money come rolling in, then your expectations are all off. And if you do start running paid ads with these expectations, you're just going to quickly become frustrated and start making impulsive decisions rather than seeing the paid ads as part of your longer term strategy. So if you aren't in a position to have this long term mindset or spend a few £1,000s before getting that back, then paid ads definitely aren't for you. Sometimes it happens, and quite frequently with our clients it happens, where you do see results pretty quickly. But if you're expecting and you need to see results quickly for it to be worth your investment, then, as I said, running ads on Google, Meta, whatever it is not going to be the best option for you. So, in conclusion, running paid ads is very exciting. You can make a lot of money in a very short space of time. Even for us as a business, paid ads make up a large percentage of our inquiries and our sales. We spend thousands a month on it ourselves, so we know it works, but it's something that you can't rush into. You need to make sure that you have all of these 5 foundations in place first of all before you do go ahead and start putting a budget behind your advertising. If you do already have these 5 foundations in place, then feel free to watch more of our videos for more information on what we do or how you can go about running paid ads yourself. And if you would like to make an inquiry to work with us, you can find a link in the description of this video to go ahead and do that.